Hey guys, it is Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Today we're going to begin our look at Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. So as most Guns N' Roses songs are, we are tuned down a half step here. So make sure you tune your guitar down to E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and E flat. Alright, if you're attempting this song, you probably already know that. So now we have this intro here, which is really like, it's got three main guitar parts going on at the same time. And of course we have a heavy delay effect, which I'm not using here. So I'm going to go through this and show you how Slash plays it without the delays, so you can really hear how the picking is. It's an incredible picking exercise too. It's by far the most difficult part of the entire song. The two guitar solos that Slash does in the song, which we'll also take a look at note for note, are much easier than the intro to play. They're kind of more of his more melodic, easier style of soloing. So let's take a look at this intro first. We have just basic this, he just hits a couple notes, just does this, hanging out on the fourth fret on the G string and picking across to the open B. Now I have some palm muting going on here because you really want those notes to kind of pop out. And if you actually have them ringing like that, it's almost impossible to play. To do this picking pattern, you really need the strings to really kind of not be moving much. So that's another way you really need to palm mute. So the delays take that at the very beginning when you hear the beginning of the song, and the delays kind of carry it out. And then he begins the actual picking pattern. Let me play through it really slow for you. Alright, so we got to really pay attention to these fingerings here, and especially the picking here. So let's take a look here. Now what we're going to be doing is a 3-note pattern that we descend with. So we're going to play 4th fret on the G, then to the open B string, and then back to the 4th fret on the G. So that 1, 2, 3. Now we continue that exact same lick, except the bottom note changes each time. We always come back to this open B though. So before we went 4, open, then 4. Now play the 2nd fret. So it's the same 3-note pattern off that note. And I'll talk about the picking in a second. And then down to the 4th fret on the D, over to the open B, and back to that 4th fret on the D. So you can see that. Alright, then you're going to move your 3rd finger down this time to play the 2nd fret on the D. Same pattern though, with the open B, then the open D, same pattern. So, I'm sorry, when we get to that open D, we are actually just going to do a different pattern. We're going to do down on the open D, then up on the B, and that's it. So just 2-note pattern there, and then a 2-note pattern on the last note, which is 2nd fret on the A, and then that open B as well. So there's last 2. So we have 3-note, 3-note, and we play it like this. Then 3-note, 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 then 2, 2. All right, now the picking, there's a lot of string skipping going on here. And to get this up to speed, not only do you need to be palm muting, but you need to pick it like this. You pick the first note with a downstroke of the group of 3, and the next 2 with upstrokes. Down, up, up, down, up, up. And then take that across all of those. All right, so we have this. Now, the reason why he does this fingering right here, instead of just doing this, is When he starts over, he slides into that first note. All right, so you actually do that 6 times. And then he starts taking it easy on us a little bit and does it this way 3 times. So we're doing 1, 2, 3 on each note, just 4, 2 on the G string there, and then on 4, it's the same bass notes we did before. You just hit each one 3 times, and then the open D twice, and the second fret on the A twice. Still slide in. All right, so you do that version of it 3 times. So the version where you're string skipping 6 times, then we have the version where there's no string skipping there that is done 3 times, and then that takes us into the all right, so that's just the D power chord to the A power chord, and then you can just play the B power chord. Just kind of build it up there. So that's what one guitar is basically doing. Now we have 2 other guitars going on underneath that. We have one that's playing rhythm mostly, and one that does a little bit of a lead. So let me play the rhythm guitar part first. Here we go. All right, so we're basically going to start there with the power chords here at the B power chord to the A to a G. So that's a G power chord, so I'm just letting the second finger mute that 5th string so you don't have that B in there. So it's basically just a G chord without the 5th fret, a 5th string, sorry. Then the E power chord. Then we're back to the B power chord and the A. Now we're going to go jump up here. Instead of playing the G, we're going to the E power chord up here at the 7th fret on the A string. And then you're going to end it with that D power chord, A power chord, and build up there. All right, just kicks into that main riff. All right, now the lead guitar part that's going on there sounds like this. All right, so we're starting with a hammer, quick little hammer from 7 to 9 on the D, then over to 7, 9 on the G, then a bend there on that 9, little bend and release, back to the 7. Then hammer 7 to 9 on the D again, and slide down to 2. Then up to some power chords here at the 14th fret on the A string, sorry. And then down to 12, then 7, then 5, over to 5 fret power chord off the 6th string. And we have this little, so that's just 7, 9 on the E, A, and D string, and the G. When you get to that last 9 on the G string, bend it up, and then grab the 10th fret there on the B string. Pick that 9, release it, back to the 7. All right, so that takes care of the intro, which is 3 pretty prominent guitar parts going on at the same time. For the rest of this, there's always literally 2 guitar parts going on, but we're really going to try to really get the main rhythm going at all times. Now we have the rhythm that Slash plays here for the main riff of the song. Sounds like this. And then he does a little fill in there. All right, so let's talk about the main riff first. Power chord off the 5th fret, down to the 3, then back to 5, then 3, and then 2nd fret there, just single note to the open string. So we have this. Now Gilby Clarke was doing this. So that's just kind of single note there, and then 3, 2, 0. All right, so they're kind of matching each other, but just playing different, areas of the fretboard. All right, and then the Slash's fill there right before the vocals come in. So that's a little pinch harmonic bend and release at the 7th fret on the G. So we have this pull off to the 5, over to 7 on the D string, back to the 7 on the G, slight bend on the 5. And then 7, 5 on the D. Then 7, 6, 5, and then slide to 3 on the A. Then you're going to quick pull off 5 to 3 on the A and on the low E. All right, and then you just continue with the same riff again. Now, sometimes in the song, he'll just play single note version of it. All right, from there we go up to the E version of that. So that's just the power chord to 7th fret on the A, down to the 5, back to 7, and then pretty much single notes 5, 4, 2. Once again, you'll catch him doing just a single note version of that sometimes too. All right, so we've made it to the chorus. We've got some cool riffs here, so let me play through it real quick. Back to that main riff or the verse. All right, so from just a power chord there at the 3rd fret on the A string, then 2 over to 5, 3 on the low E. And there's a quick little open low E 6th string as you're jumping up to the next chord, which is power chord at the 5th fret on the A string, D power chord, and then that's 4 on the A string, 7, 5. So it's the same as the thing we did down here. And then we have this one. That's the 2nd fret twice on the D, then the open D string, then 1, 0 on the A, and then 3, 0 on the low E. Now that last time we just hit each note once, and then go 3, 4 at the very end to take you back to the verse. So it goes back to the verse section, a whole verse section. You'll hear some little fills in it where he's just kind of going up the A string and doing some random bends there. So you hear that a couple times. That sticks out pretty much on the recording. And but the verse just kind of goes through the same way. And then out of that verse, we're basically going to hit our first solo. So let me play the first guitar solo by Slash real quick. All right, so it's a pretty short little solo there, and we have some kind of funky stuff in the very beginning. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start with a low E open string, And then you're going to play the 11th fret on the D and the 12th on the G string, and then slide it up 1 fret. Then there's a couple, you're just going to lay this fingers across the strings, kind of some muted strings. And then we have 14 on the D, 13 on the G twice. So far. You're going to play 12 on the B and the G, and then the 12 and 13, 12 on the D, 13 on the G. So all together. Now you're just going to play the 12th fret across the D, G, and B strings with some vibrato on it. And then we kind of start the same way again. Now we're going to come up and grab the 14 on the D string, 13 on the G, 15 on the B. And then we're going to do some hybrid picking. We're going to pick the 11th fret on the D and the 11th fret on the B. So the pick will get the bottom note, and your middle finger can get the B string. Pick that, or you can just mute the string in the middle with the bottom of your middle finger there, and just use a pick across. And then we're going to just come up and grab the 15th fret across the B and the high E. So we have this all together. All right, next phrase. All right, so that's sliding into the 18th fret on the G, to the 17 on the B, and then 19 on the high E, and then you're going to bend that 19 up 1.5 steps. So it's going to basically sound like the 22nd fret there. Then play 19, 18, and then you're going to come down to the 17th fret and do a whole step pre-bend and release it. So we have this. One more time. And then 15, 16, over to 15 on the B. All right, the end of the solo sounds like this. All right, so we're going to start with a bend at the 10th fret on the high E string, whole step bend. Then play 10-7. Then come over to the 10th fret on the B string, kind of a half step bend and release a couple times. And then pull off to 8. So we have. From there, we're just going to pick across 10-8 again, pick the notes, then 9-7, then 9-8 on the D, try this, and then come down here quickly to the 7th fret, for a half step pre-bend, release, pull off to 5, and pick 7-5 real quick again, so we have this. And you just end it with this sliding into 9 on the G, 8, 7. On that 7, you're going to have a little bit of a little artificial harmonic. So from the beginning of this phrase, all right, so stay tuned for the second video. I'm going to take a look at all the remaining riffs in the song and Slash's second guitar solo. I'll see you then.